Welcome to SWIRL AI Search, the podcast that dives deep into the world of enterprise AI search. Discover how to unlock the value hidden within your internal data and accelerate your journey to actionable insights. Let's cut through the noise and find out how you can get the most out of your internal information. As befitting a podcast about AI, this episode was created with the help of Notebook LM. Please enjoy the SWIRL AI Search podcast.
Ever feel like you're on an archaeological dig? Not for ancient artifacts, but like
Yeah.
in your company's digital files.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Emails, Slack threads, databases. It's a jungle of information out there.
Absolutely, it really is. And it's only getting harder, just the sheer volume of data is overwhelming. Sometimes it feels impossible to find that one crucial email or that presentation or that report.
So is this like a universal problem? I mean, what exactly is making internal search so much harder?
Well, there are a few things, really. For one, the amount of information, like I was saying, it's just exploding. And it's not just the volume, it's the fact that it's all scattered across so many different platforms.
Yeah, it's true. You've got your CRM over here, your project management tools over there, then your shared drives.
Exactly. And all of them have their own search function. It's just not efficient, and it can be incredibly frustrating. I mean, think about it, right? Google can search the entire internet, but try to find that one presentation from last year's sales kickoff, and it can feel next to impossible.
It really can. So is there a way out of this data jungle? I know our sources mentioned something called SWIRL AI Search. What is that exactly?
Well, Swirl is designed to tackle these challenges head on. Think of it as a universal search engine for your entire company. It connects to all your data sources, from databases and emails to Slack, and it provides a single unified interface to search across everything.
Wow, so I wouldn't have to jump between 5 different platforms just to find that one sales report? That would be amazing.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. You interact with Swirl using natural language.
So I wouldn't need to learn any complicated search commands or code.
No. Swirl basically acts as a translator. It converts your everyday language into the specific queries needed for each data source. Even those tricky SQL variants, Swirl handles them all behind the scenes. You just type in your question, like, find me that marketing proposal from Q2, and Swirl takes care of the rest.
So I can just ask a question like I'm talking to a colleague, and Swirl finds what I need across all those different systems. That sounds almost too good to be true, but how does it actually make sense of all that data and find the right stuff?
That's where the AI comes in. Swirl uses artificial intelligence to analyze your data and automatically extract relevant information, creating what we call metadata.
Metadata, that sounds a little technical.
Well, think of it like this. Metadata is basically information about information. It's like adding tags, keywords, and descriptions to your files, almost like digital sticky notes, in a way making them much easier for Swirl to find and understand.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. It's like Swirl is reading between the lines, figuring out what each piece of data is really about.
Yeah.
So when I search for something, it's not just matching keywords, it's understanding the context.
You got it. And that's what makes Swirl's search results so much more accurate and relevant than traditional methods. It's not just about finding a file with the right words. It's about finding the file that truly answers your question.
That's great. But anytime we talk about AI, the question of security comes up, especially when we're dealing with sensitive company information. How does Swirl ensure our data stays safe?
That's a really important point. And this is where Swirl's approach to AI interaction is really important. It acts as a mediator between you and the AI models, which means the AI never has direct access to your raw data.
Okay, so it's not like the AI is just rummaging through all our files.
Exactly. Swirl controls which information the AI models see, ensuring they only get the specific data needed to answer your query. This minimizes the risk of unauthorized access or data leaks. It's like having a very responsible librarian who carefully vets every request before retrieving any information. That's a really good analogy. Security and privacy, they're baked into Swirl's design.
That's good to hear. But even with a responsible librarian, you could still end up with like a whole stack of books that aren't really what you're looking for, right? How does Swirl make sure that I'm getting the most relevant results?
Right. Well, that's where the confidence score comes in. So Swirl analyzes each result, right?
Yeah.
And then it assigns it a score from 0 to 1. And the higher the score, the more confident Swirl is that, that this result actually answers your question.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a built-in like BS detector for search results.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess you could say that. So, for example, let's say you ask Swirl, what were our sales figures for last quarter, right? It might find a presentation about sales strategy, a spreadsheet with the raw data, and maybe even an email thread discussing sales targets, right? So Swirl would analyze all three of those things, but it would likely assign a higher confidence score to the spreadsheet because that's the one that directly contains the sales figures, right?
Got it. So the confidence score kind of helps me prioritize the most promising results. Can I actually adjust that score, though, like to fine-tune my search?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can set a minimum confidence score. So you're basically telling Swirl, okay, don't even show me results below this threshold.
Yay.
That way you're really just seeing like the most relevant information right off the bat.
Oh, that's cool. That's really helpful. I mean, no more wading through pages of irrelevant results just to find that one nugget of information I'm looking for. So speaking of saving time, our sources mentioned that, some companies using Swirl have seen some pretty impressive results, right? Like in terms of time savings.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Like one Fortune 500 company, they reported an 80% reduction in search time after implementing Swirl. That's like, basically getting an extra day back every week.
Wow, an extra day. Think of all the things you could do at that time. But it's not just about saving time though, right? It's also about like the impact on productivity and, decision making.
Absolutely. When people can quickly and easily find the information they need, well, they can work more efficiently, they can make better, more informed decisions, and ultimately they can be more productive.
So Swirl isn't just a fancy search tool. It's a productivity booster, a decision-making enhancer.
I mean, you could even say it's like a potential game changer for how businesses operate. I mean, imagine a world where everyone has instant access to the right information, right when they need it.
That sounds almost too good to be true. But speaking of too good to be true, let's talk about security again. I mean, we talked about Swirl keeping the AI from, seeing everything.
hmm
But what about controlling access among, like, my team? I mean, how do we make sure that not everyone has access to everything?
Yeah, that's another really critical aspect of Swirl's security design. It integrates seamlessly with your existing security infrastructure, so things like role-based access control, you
So
know.
it's not like creating a whole separate security system that IT has to manage.
No, not at all. Swirl basically works within your existing framework. So if someone only has access to certain databases or files, well, those restrictions will carry over to Swirl.
That makes sense. It's like Swirl is respecting the digital boundaries that are already in place. But what about companies with like really strict security requirements, like, government agencies or financial institutions? Can Swirl even handle those situations?
Absolutely. Swirl can be deployed on premises, meaning it's installed within your own secure environment. Your data never leaves your control.
So no need to worry about sensitive information, floating around in the cloud.
Right. And for those with like the absolute most stringent requirements, Swirl can even be deployed in fully air-gapped environments. That means systems that are completely isolated from any external networks.
Wow, that's really impressive. So it sounds like Swirl is really designed to work in like a wide range of scenarios, even the most secure ones.
Exactly. And that kind of flexibility is really key, especially as, more and more organizations embrace AI-powered solutions.
It seems like Swirl is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with enterprise search. But I'm curious, though, what are some of the broader implications of this kind of shift? I mean, is this just about better search, or is there something like bigger at play here?
That's a great question. I think Swirl represents like a paradigm shift in how we approach data management and knowledge discovery.
Uh,
We're moving away from these cumbersome ETL processes, where you have to copy and move data just to make it searchable.
yeah, those ETL projects can be a real nightmare. They take forever, they're expensive, and they just add another layer of complexity and potential security risks.
Exactly. With Swirl, though, you leave the data where it is and you bring the AI to the data. It eliminates the need for data consolidation, it reduces the attack surface, and it just makes the whole process more agile and efficient.
Wow, it's like a whole new way of thinking about how we access and leverage information within our organizations.
Precisely. And I think as AI technology keeps evolving, we're just going to see, even more innovative solutions like Swirl emerge.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we? I mean, we've talked about Swirl's ability to search across all these different data sources, the natural language interface, the AI-powered metadata extraction, the focus on security and privacy, the impact on productivity and decision-making. It's clear that Swirl is a powerful tool. But what does all this mean for our listeners? Why should they care about Swirl AI Search?
If you're struggling with information overload, if you're tired of wasting time searching for information, if you just want to unlock the hidden potential in your data, well, then Swirl could be the answer.
It's about empowering people, really, giving them the tools to find the information they need to do their jobs better, to be more innovative, and to make a real impact.
Exactly. It's about helping organizations make smarter decisions, work more efficiently, and, ultimately gain a competitive edge in today's data-driven world.
So it's not just about finding information faster. It's about using that information to drive better outcomes for your business, for your team, for everyone.
Exactly. It's about turning data into actionable insights and then using those insights to make real progress.
It sounds like Swirl could be a real game changer.
I think it has the potential to be just that. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. From overwhelmed to empowered. It's really about, shifting from that feeling of being overwhelmed by data, to actually feeling empowered by it.
I love that. From overwhelmed to empowered, that is a perfect way to sum up the potential of Swirl AI Search.
Mm,
And it's not just about, finding information faster. It's about unlocking those insights, right? The ones that can drive real change and real innovation.
absolutely. It's about moving from, just searching to really understanding.
Well, gotta say, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about the future of enterprise search, that's for sure,
Mhm.
after this deep dive. We've gone from like the lost city of data to a well-organized library, all thanks to Swirl, right?
And remember, that library, it's constantly like expanding and evolving. As AI technology continues to advance, tools like Swirl, they're only going to become more powerful and insightful.
It really is an exciting time to be working with data. So to our listeners out there, if you're ready to, stop searching and start discovering, I highly encourage you to check out Squirrel AI Search. You might be surprised by what you find.
Who knows? You might just uncover the next big breakthrough for your company.
That's right. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Swirl AI Search. We hope you found it informative and engaging and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Until next time, keep those questions coming and keep exploring that vast universe of knowledge that's right at your fingertips.
Thank you for listening to the SWIRL AI Search podcast, brought to you by SWIRL AI Connect. For more information about SWIRL, please follow us on LinkedIn or visit www.swirlaiconnect.com.